Yes. Question number 52. So take question number 52. It's a very good question. So this is related to the meaning of exempted supplies. Question number 52, page number 23. So question number 52, page number 23 of practice manual. It's a very good question related to the meaning of exempted supplies. So see this question. Mr. Rajesh Surana has a proprietorship firm in the name of Surana and Sons in Jaipur. The firm registered under the GST in the state of Rajasthan manufactures three taxable products M, N and O. So tax on N is payable under reverse charge, which means, so in case of N, we are not required to pay GST, our recipient is required to pay GST. This means Rajesh Surana will not pay GST, so his recipient will pay GST. The firm also provides the taxable consultancy services, and they have given the details for April to September. Turnover of M, turnover of N and turnover of O, turnover of M with payment of IGST, export of O under letter of undertaking. So now let's see whether GST is payable or not. So when you prepare a statement, so you need to prepare a working note. What is that working note in this type of questions? Because this question actually is related to application of exempted supplies. So we have some turnover details, few are taxable, few are exempted, sale of land, sale of building, sale of shares, and we have some common credit. So full common credit we cannot take, proportionate common credit only we can take. Means full credit you take and then reverse the ITC attributable to exempted supplies. Okay, so therefore, so this question actually requires us to compute the net GST payable. So with the help of the above information, so my request to you is that whenever you start reading a question like this, which is of like some say a big question, so directly find the requirement first. So then only you will have a clarity as to what is that you need to find in that question. So with the help of above mentioned information, compute the net GST payable of Surana and Sons payable from the electronic credit ledger or cash ledger as the case may be for the period April to September. So we need to compute the net GST payable. So for computing the net GST payable, what is it we need to do? First we need to know what is our gross liability and what is the input tax credit. Okay, so we need to prepare it working note. What is that working note? Particulars for the purpose of payment of GST, for the purpose of availment of ITC, what it is. Okay, so for GST purposes what it is, and for the purpose of payment of ITC what it is. Okay, so now 14 lakhs is my turnover of M is a taxable product, and therefore whether I need to pay GST, yes. And turnover of N, I will not pay GST, my recipient will pay GST, so therefore it will not be, like GST is not payable. And while computing exempted turnover and total turnover, so where M will be taken? M will be taken under taxable turnover, N will be taken under exempted turnover. So M will be taken under taxable turnover and N will be taken under exempted turnover. Turnover of O, outward supply is covered under tax. Okay, so therefore we will pay GST, and where it will be taken while computing the turnover, taxable, and for the purpose of ITC. Export of M with payment of IGST, so means I need to pay IGST, and where it will be taken while computing ITC, taxable turnover. Export of O under letter of undertaking. Under letter of undertaking means that I need to pay GST or I don't have to pay GST. No, export without payment of IGST under bond or LUT. So therefore I don't have to pay GST, but even then it will be treated as taxable at the time of availment of ITC. It will be classified under taxable turnover. And thereafter, consultancy services provided to an independent client located in foreign countries. In all cases, the consideration has been received in convertible foreign exchange. So this is like export without, if in the absence of export upon payment of IGST or export without payment of IGST under bond or LUT. So you take it as export without payment of IGST under bond or LUT. So don't take export upon payment of IGST. So in this case, we don't have to pay any GST. However, for the purpose of availment of ITC, it will be kept under which turnover? Taxable turnover. Sale of building excluding stamp duty rupees 2.5 lakhs, because this is zero rated. So services provided to the foreign countries, previous point is a zero rated export of services, and consideration has been received in foreign exchange, because in order to become export of service, 5 conditions should be satisfied. Supplier should be in India, recipient should be outside India, place of supply should be outside India, consideration should be in convertible foreign exchange, supplier and recipient are not two establishments of the same person, and in case of services to Nepal and Bhutan, it can be in Indian rupees. Then it will be called as export of services, zero rated. Okay, and as they have not given that it is export on payment of IGST, so I am taking export without payment of IGST, so there is no GST. However, it will be considered as taxable turnover for the purpose of computing the ITC. Sale of building, definitely we will not pay GST because it is not a supply. Even interest received on fixed deposits, so it is exempted, we will not pay any GST. And sale of shares are not goods or services, so we will not pay any GST. And legal services is first inward supply, not an outward supply. So legal service is an inward supply that will be taken into ITC. And 50 lakhs common inputs and input services that will be taken into ITC. These two are inward supplies. Okay. So now sale of building, even though we don't have to pay any GST, but it will be treated as exempted while computing the turnover for ITC. And interest received on fixed deposits, interest on loans, advance and deposits is exempted, we don't have to pay GST, but while computing the turnover it should be taken as taxable. That's a special point. Okay. So interest on loans, advances, deposits, but other than bank or financial institution, for a bank or financial institution, interest on loans, advances and deposits will be treated as exempted, both for payment of GST as well as for availment of ITC. Whereas for others only it is exempted for payment of GST, but while computing the ITC it will be treated as taxable. So are they bank? No, they are not bank. So therefore it will be treated as taxable at the time of computing the ITC. Sale of shares also, it is not a supply, but it should be treated as exempted supply. It should be treated as exempted outward supply for computing the turnover, okay, for the purpose of ITC. So now we are able to arrive at this. Now what is that we need to do? First we need to take the gross GST payable. So first we will take the gross GST payable in this case. So what is the gross liability we need to find? We have FCM liability and RCM liability. We have FCM liability and RCM liability. So this is question number 52. We have FCM liability and RCM liability. So let's take the gross liability. So first we prepare the working note. So in that working note we need to classify properly, like how what I have given, whether it is taxable or exempted, etc. And the details, the justification needs to be provided. So then gross liability computation will be easy. For goods you take 12% because see the rate. So assume that all the domestic transactions of Surana are intrastate and that rate, so which means all transactions are intrastate and that rate of GST on goods and service are 12% and 18%. All the conditions necessary for availing the ITC have been complied with. So they are asking us, don't break your head as to CGST, SGST, HGST, even though some transactions are there that attracts IGST. So they are asking that you need to treat it as intrastate only, means CGST, SGST only, and GST rate on goods is 12% and GST rate on services will be 18%. All the conditions necessary for availing the ITC have been complied and turnover of Surana was 85 lakhs in the previous financial year. That will not have any impact, which means that they are trying to convey that they are registered person. So now wherever goods are there we need to take 12%. So 14 lakhs is goods and 10 lakhs is goods and 2,50,000 is also goods. So 14 lakhs plus 10 lakhs plus 2,50,000. So these three are goods. And next thing, services we don't have anything. So completely it will be goods 12%. So 26,50,000 is the gross liability. 26,50,000 into 12%. 26,50,000 into 12%, that comes to, so 3,18,000 will be our gross liability under FCM. Even we have RCM liability also. What is that? Legal service received from an advocate in relation to product M. So legal services will be coming under RCM. Advocate services received by a business entity whose aggregate turnover during the previous year exceed the threshold limit for registration. So yes, their aggregate turnover during the previous year exceed threshold limit for registration. They need to pay GST on that legal services under RCM. So what is the value of that legal services? 3,50,000. And what is the rate applicable to services? 18%. So therefore 3,50,000 into 18% is our RCM liability. 3,50,000 into 18%, 63,000 is our RCM liability. And now gross liability we got. Now input tax credit. So minus input tax credit, less input tax credit, less input tax credit utilized. Input tax credit utilized. So how to compute the input tax credit utilized? First we need to take input tax credit availed. So ITC availed. ITC availed. How much is the ITC availed? So in this, if you see, first of all, legal services. Legal services 3,50,000. Can we take it as ITC? Yes. So this 63,000 can be taken as ITC. This 63,000 can be taken as ITC, which is RCM paid. Which is RCM paid. And common inputs. Common inputs. With respect to common inputs, how much? So see that common inputs and input services inputs 35 lakhs. So therefore 35 lakhs into 12% we would have taken the credit. Okay. So ITC availed with respect to RCM paid. See, we need to compute it in two things. First ITC availed, thereafter ITC reverse. So what we are doing is the ITC availed. Okay. So ITC availed minus ITC reverse. That will only be called as ITC utilized. Okay. So ITC availed, that is RCM paid. RCM paid is 63,000 and common inputs. So 35 lakhs. 35 lakhs into 12%, that will come to rupees 4,20,000. Okay, this is the common inputs. Thereafter common input services. Common input services. What is that common input services? If you see here 15 lakhs. So 15 lakhs into 12%, 18%. 15 lakhs into 18%. So what is that? 15 lakhs into 18% will come to 2,70,000. So 2,70,000 will be taken as the ITC availed. So RCM paid 63,000, common inputs 4,20,000 and common input services 2,70,000. So this is the ITC availed. So 2,70,000 plus 63,000 plus 4,20,000. So that is 7,53,000. 7,53,000 is the ITC availed, but fully we cannot enjoy. Minus ITC reversed. Minus ITC reversed. How much is the ITC reversed? So 7,53,000. So don't take 7,53,000. Wait, that is a mistake that you will be doing. So first of all, this legal services is used for what product? Product M. Product M is a taxable. So inward supply exclusively used for taxable will not come in common. I want only common for reversal. So what is a common for reversal? Only these two. So 63,000 full credit I can enjoy. I don't have to reverse anything. So 4,20,000 plus 2,70,000. So that comes to 6,90,000. Only 6,90,000 should be taken. In a rush, don't take 7,53,000, because in that 7,53,000 there is 63,000 component which is exclusively used for taxable supply, so we can enjoy the ITC. 6,90,000 into exempted turnover divided by total turnover. That we would have done in the working note in the exam. So working note we would have taken what are exempted supply, what are total. Okay. So what is the exempted turnover? So first see here. So sale of building excluding stamp duty 2.5 lakhs being 2% of the value. So what our intelligent students will do, they will take 1 crore 20 lakhs. No, 1 crore 20 lakhs should not be taken. We should take stamp duty value. What is that stamp duty value? So 2% is 2,50,000. So 2,50,000 is 2%, which means what will be 100%? So 1 crore 25 lakhs. So stamp duty value is 1 crore 25 lakhs only should be taken. That is a mistake that we generally do. We will take what? 1 crore 20 lakhs. We should not take 1 crore 20 lakhs. We should take 1 crore 25 lakhs. And in case of interest, sale value of securities, don't take 2 crore 50 lakhs. Purchase price irrelevant. Sale price 2 crore 50 lakhs. Don't take. So what will be taken as the value in this case? So 2 crore 50 lakhs into 2 crore 50 lakhs into 1%. So 1% of the sale value of security should be taken as the value. That is 2,50,000 will be taken as the value. Got it? So this is about the meaning of exempted turnover. And first exempted turnover I need. What are the exempted turnover? 6 lakhs. So take 6 lakhs plus taxable, taxable, taxable. Then here exempted. So 1 crore 20 lakhs, only 1 crore 25 lakhs will be taken as exempted. So 1 crore 25 lakhs. Then what is exempted? 2,50,000. 2,50,000 is exempted. So 1 crore 33 lakh 50,000 is the exempted turnover. So what is the exempted turnover? You would have done it in the working note, but I am just giving here exempted turnover 1 crore 33 lakh 50,000 divided by total turnover. What is the total turnover? Everything should be taken. be careful, numerator whatever you have taken as value of exempted, that only should come in denominator, don't take something else, okay. So already you took 1 crore 33 lakh 50,000. So already you took 1 crore 33 lakh 50,000 as exempted, just taxable. If you add, that is sufficient. So what is the turnover of M? 14 lakhs. So add plus 14 lakhs, and thereafter turnover of O taxable 10 lakhs, you add 10 lakhs, and thereafter export of M taxable turnover, so to add 2 lakh 50,000, and then export of O taxable, so you add it as 10 lakhs, and thereafter, so here consultancy services you add as taxable turnover 20 lakhs, and then interest also is taxable turnover, you add 4 lakhs. So you will be getting 1 crore 94 lakhs. You will get 1 crore 94 lakhs as the total turnover. So in that, taxable turnover is also there, exempted turnover is also there, okay. So now if you do the reversal, you will be able to understand how much ITC can be utilized. So first 6 lakh 90,000 into 1335, zeros I am eliminating, divided by 1940, so that is equals to 4,74,819.58. So I will take it as 820. So 4,74,820 is the ITC availed minus ITC reversed. So therefore 7,53,000 minus this, so we will be getting 2,78,180. So what is the ITC utilized? 2,78,180. How we got 2,78,180? Total ITC availed 7,53,000. ITC reversed is 4,74,820. So therefore the ITC utilized for payment of liability, FCM liability, will be 2,78,180. So now the balance will be known as net liability. So the balance will be known as net liability. So what is that net liability? So the net liability will be here 3,18,000 minus 2,78,180. So that will be 39,820. And whereas here the 63,000 fully we need to pay, but that 63,000 has been taken as ITC, sir. Yes, that 63,000 has been taken as ITC, it is there, and it is used for payment of FCM liability. So this is how we need to apply the meaning of exempted supply and arrive at the answer for this question. Now let's see that answer 52. So see here, first total GST paid on outward supply. So turnover of M, N not there, O, M, and export of O, consultancy services also nil, and sale of building, interest received, sale of shares. So 3,18,000. So the 3,18,000 is our FCM liability, okay. Then common credit 6,90,000. 6,90,000 into exempted to total 4,74,820. Done. And thereafter we have to compute the ITC adjusted. So net ITC 2,78,180. 2,78,180 is the net ITC available for adjustment. And thereafter computation of net liability. So what is the tax paid in cash? So 1,02,820. How 1,02,820? This sum. So 39,820 plus 63,000. So 1,02,820 is the sum. Okay. So this is how the answer is being given, and I gave the explanation related to that completely. Okay. So Van Shopee is a registered supplier of both taxable and exempted goods, registered under GST in the state of Rajasthan. So look into question number 61, page number 28 in practice manual. This is related to rule 42. So details of sales, supply of taxable goods, supply of goods not leviable to GST. So supply of taxable goods is there, and goods not leviable to GST means exempted outward supply. Details of goods purchased for being sold in the shop, taxable goods 45 lakhs. So I purchase some goods which is used for making sales, so taxable goods So this will be coming under T4. I have some inward supplies which is exclusively used for taxable outward supply. Just T1, T2, T3, T4 if you write enough. T1, T2, T3, T4 if you write, that is sufficient. Then goods not leviable to GST. When I purchase the goods not leviable to GST, where from there is tax. So therefore don't take it, leave it. Then details of expenses. Monthly rent payable for the shop. So monthly rent payable for the shop is 3,50,000. Where it will come? In the same shop we are selling both taxable goods and exempted goods. So therefore it will be common. We cannot segregate it in T1, T2, T3, T4. Unless otherwise we have the information that this much is for taxable, this much is for exempted, like that. We don't have any information here, so we will not put anywhere. Then telephone expenses paid, 30,000 for landline phone installed at the shop and 20,000 towards mobile phone bills of the employees. Mobile phones are given to the employees for official use. So now in this case, so 30,000 for landline phone installed in the shop, that is fine. So common credit, it will go because we cannot segregate it to T1, T2, T3. Whereas 20,000 rupees towards mobile phone bills of employees. Mobile phones are given to employees for official purpose. So that also will be coming. Telephone bill, GST paid. So now you cannot segregate it anywhere. Audit fees paid to a chartered accountant. 35,000 for filing income tax return and statutory audit of preceding financial year and 25,000 for filing GST return. Okay. So then we cannot segregate it anywhere. Premium paid on health insurance policies taken for specified employees of the shop as per company policy. So means it is a blocked credit. So T3. It will come under blocked credit T3. And then next, freight paid to GTA for inward transportation of goods not leviable to GST. So we have to pay this GST, but we cannot take it as ITC. Okay. So therefore, because it will come in T1, inward supply exclusively, not non-business, exempted. So T2, inward supply is exclusively for exempted. Freight paid to GTA for inward transportation of taxable goods. So T4, it will come under T4. Goods distributed as free samples, blocked credit, correct? Not including the taxable goods value of 45 lakhs. So this will be blocked credits, T3. We don't have anything used for non-business purpose. Everything is used for business purpose only. So there is nothing for non-business purpose. All the above amounts are exclusive of all kind of taxes. All the purchase and sales are made by one Shopee or within Rajasthan. All the purchase are made from registered suppliers. All the other expenses incurred also within Rajasthan. So everything is intrastate. So you can directly calculate and final answer you can show separately as CGST, SGST. Assume wherever applicable for the purpose of reverse charge payable by one Shopee. So in case of GTA services, they need to pay GST under RCM. The CGST, SGST and IGST rates are 2.5%, 2.5% and 5% respectively. And CGST, SGST and IGST rates are 6%, 6% and 12% respectively with respect to other cases. And there is no opening balance in the electronic cash ledger or credit ledger subject to the information given above. Assume that all other conditions necessary for availing IDC have been fulfilled. You are required to compute the following. So to compute this, first we will stick to the format. So only when we can stick to the format, we will be able to arrive at the answer for this. So this is for question number 61. So question number 61. So that is, first we need to take T. So in exam we need to write clearly about T. So what are all coming in the GST paid, that will be taken as T. Okay. So but here it is directly taken. So T minus T1 minus T2 minus T3. So that balance will be equal to C1, that is common credit or credit taken minus this is the credit availed, ITC availed minus T4, that is tax paid on inward supply which is exclusively used for taxable. Now the balance will be C2, common credit, how much ever is the common credit. Okay. Then common credit attributable to exempted. and common credit attributable to non-business. So just the format, if you know, you can easily arrive. First, tax paid. We need to take the tax paid. For that, we need to write detailedly how much is the tax paid. So take one by one. Whatever is the tax paid, I need. So purchases only, not sales. Purchases. Details of goods purchased. So taxable goods purchased. 45 lakhs would have been purchased. Into what is the rate applicable? So 12%. First you take total and thereafter segregate CGST, SGST. So 45 lakhs into 12%. That is 5,40,000. So 5,40,000 is the first tax that is paid. And thereafter next number. So that is 4 lakhs. On 4 lakhs there is no GST paid. Monthly rent payable for the shop 3,50,000. So 3,50,000 into. So for services any different rate? No, same rate 12%. So 12% 42,000. So 42,000 will be the rent related GST. And thereafter next number, telephone expenses paid for landline phone installed at the shop and 20,000 towards mobile phone bills of the employees. Mobile phones are given to employees for official use. So definitely ITC, that is definitely GST paid on this also. So 50,000 also GST is paid. 50,000 into again 12%. So we don't have any other rate for services. So that's the reason why we are taking 12%. That is 6,000 is taken. And then next one, audit fees paid to a chartered accountant. So 60,000. 60,000 into 12%. 7,200. 7,200 audit fees. And then premium paid on health insurance. On that also GST is paid. So 10,000 into 12%, 1,200. 1,200 plus. Next, freight paid to GTA for inward transportation of goods not liable to GST. On that we need to pay GST under RCM. So 5%. So 50,000 into 5%. That is 2,500. 2,500. Then next one. That is 1,50,000 is the freight paid to GTA on inward transportation of taxable goods. So 1,50,000 into 5% because 5% is the rate of GST on GTA services. So 7,500 plus goods given as free samples. So distributors free samples. So this is manufactured goods or what? So registered person. So purchased goods not included in the taxable goods value of 45 lakhs means it would have been purchased. Okay. So see here, not including the taxable value of goods of 45 lakhs means not involved in this 45 lakhs purchases. So it is separate purchases. So which means 5,000. On that 5,000 also GST is paid. So 12%, that is 600. So 600 with respect to GST paid on goods distributors free samples. Now this will be taken as the total tax. So 5,40,000 plus 42,000 plus 6,000 plus 7,200 plus 1,200 plus 2,500 plus 7,500 plus 600. So that is 6,07,000 will be taken. Okay. Now T1, that is out of this anything is used for non-business purpose? No. So already we did this. So in exam you just write that in pencil and thereafter you erase. Okay. See, it is that we should be able to arrive at the answer. That is important. If the invigilator is asking like why you have written something in pencil, you tell that I will erase your weight. So because I have to arrive at the answer because this is such kind of question. So T1 you have not written anywhere. So because nothing is used for non-business purpose. So therefore T1 will be 0. T2, yes. T2 we have the information that is inward supply which is used for exempted outward supply. So this GTA service of 50,000. So what is that? 50,000 into 5%, 2,500 you paid na. That will be coming under T2. And thereafter, so T3, yes, we have two blocked credits. That is health insurance, 10,000 into 12%, 1,200 and 5,000 into 12%. So 10,000 plus 5,000, 15,000 into 12%, 1,800. So 1,800 is coming in T3. Okay. So what is this 1,800, 1,200 and 600, these two. And then if you take out this, so 6,07,000 minus 2,500 minus 1,800. So will be 6,02,000 2700 ITC availed in GSTR 3B. ITC availed in GSTR 3B. So thereafter we need to do the reversal. So for the T4, how much of the inward supplies which is exclusively used for taxable? So 45 lakhs. So 45 lakhs into 12%, that is 5,40,000. That 5,40,000 one, and even GTA services we received which is used only for taxable goods. Okay, so 1,50,000. So 1,50,000 into 5%, 7,500. So 7,500. So 5,40,000 plus 7,500, 5,47,500. If you take out, then you will get the common credit. So 6,02,700 minus 6,02,700 minus 5,47,500, that is 55,200 will be common credit. So this is known as common credit here. So this common credit attributable to exempted supplies. So we don't have non-business. Common credit attributable to non-business we don't have, but common credit attributable to exempted supply 55,200 into exempted turnover divided by total turnover. What is it? Turnover, that is outward supply. So outward supply here, sales, taxable goods 50 lakhs, exempted goods 10 lakhs. So therefore 10 divided by 60. 10 divided by 60. We don't have any other exempted outward supply. All these are inward supply details. We don't have any outward supply details. So therefore 10 divided by 60. How much it will come to? 55,200 into 10 divided by 60. That is 9,200. So now, so 9,200 is the ITC to be reversed. So what is the ITC available for utilization? ITC available for utilization. ITC available for utilization is nothing but ITC that we taken in 3B. So how much it is? 6,02,700. 6,02,700 minus reversed ITC 9,200. So 6,07,200 minus 9,200. So 5,98,000 is the ITC available for utilization. So we got the answer. Now whatever question they have given, accordingly we can write. First, input tax credit credited to electronic credit ledger. What is the input tax credit credited to electronic ledger? 6,02,700. 6,02,700. Common credit available for apportionment. Common credit is 55,200. 55,200. ITC attributable towards exempted supply out of common credit. Out of common credit, how much of the ITC is attributable towards exempted supply? So that is 9,200. That also we computed. Now net GST payable we need to find. So see this, simple. Net GST payable. Net GST payable. So net GST payable, we have FCM liability and RCM liability. So separate it. FCM and RCM. So FCM and RCM. First gross liability. First gross liability. What is the taxable turnover? So the turnover, if you see, only two turnovers are there. Taxable goods 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs into 12%. 50 lakhs into 12% equals to 6 lakhs. Okay, and then thereafter we have RCM liability. What is that RCM liability? GTA services 2 lakhs, 1,50,000 and 50. So 2 lakhs into 5%. 2 lakhs into 5%. So 2 lakhs into 5%, 10,000. Now remember, be careful. Don't again take 10,000 as ITC, because this 10,000 is already there in the ITC. We segregated there properly. So don't touch anything with respect to that. Minus ITC available for utilization. Minus ITC available for utilization. Sir, this 10,000 RCM liability is also already taken. Okay. ITC available for utilization. ITC available for utilization is 5,98,000. So 5,98,000 you adjust. So remaining will be the liability. So therefore the net liability will be. Therefore the net liability will be nothing but 2,000 here and 10,000 here. Thereafter you segregate and write CGST, SGST. So CGST, SGST. Finally you can segregate, that is 1,000, 1,000, here 5,000, 5,000 over. So this is how we need to arrive at the answer with respect to this. So this is a way in which rule 42 can be tested. And this question is actually a past exam question, not an RTP. This type of question came in RTP. Then in old syllabus, they have asked this question for 10 marks. Okay. This is literal application of rule 42, as in new syllabus they did not touch this. So I am expecting definitely a question can be asked on this. Okay. So you can see the answer related to this. Question number 61. So see the liability. What is the total tax liability? So reverse charge 5,000 and so 8,250 plus 8,250. One second. So let's see from the beginning. So total ITC and common credit. What is the common credit? 27,600 into 2, 55,200. We got common credit 55,200. Yes, pakka. Only thing, it is done on a CGST, SGST separately, because see in exam, if you have that much of space available, you do that, or directly you can do, and finally you can segregate and show. Okay. So I did a mistake somewhere. What is the ITC available for utilization? 6,02,700 minus 9,200, because 55,200 into 10 divided by 60, 5,93,500. 6,02,700 minus 9,200, sorry, 5,93,500. 5,93,500, sorry, it's a calculator mistake, and 5,93,500 we will reduce here. Okay, it's my mistake only, I just blame calculator. So in exam also it happens, because I am in a rush to complete, that's why. So 6 lakhs minus 5,93,500 will come to 6,500. 6,500. Okay. And RCM liability 10,000. So now that's where. So here if you see the total liability, computation of common credit, ITC attributable. So if you see net liability 8,250 into 2, 16,500. We also got 16,500. Okay. So look into question number 60, page number 27 in the practice manual book, related to a question on rule 43. So involving reversal of ITC because of initial purchase at a later point of time used for common. So first, XYZ Private Limited is a manufacturing company registered under GST in the state of Uttar Pradesh. It manufactures 2 taxable products, Alpha and Beta, and one exempted product, Gamma. On 1st October, while the product Beta got exempted through an exemption notification, so the exemption available on Gamma got withdrawn on the same date. So now here what has happened is that, so before 1st October, okay, before 1st October, so before that, so there were 3 products, Alpha, Beta and Gamma. So Alpha what? Alpha was taxable. Alpha and Beta were taxable, and Gamma was exempted. And with effect from 110, what has happened? So product Beta got exempted and Alpha became taxable, and Gamma became taxable because exemption available on Gamma got withdrawn and Alpha continued to be taxable. So this is the position of these 3 goods which are given in the question. That only I just taken this way. The turnover of Alpha, Beta and Gamma in the month of October is 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 6 lakhs. So this is given for finding the exempted turnover to total turnover. So now they gave list of machineries and list of raw materials purchased. So they are asking how much is the ITC credited to electronic credit ledger and common credit attributable to exempted supply. So this is literally on rule 43, that is capital goods, manner of availment and reversal of ITC. Now whenever you get a question like this, you need to prepare a working note in the answer sheet. What is that working note? So how much is the ITC availed during the current month and what is the common credit? Okay, so if you are able to get it, then the computation will be very simple. So common credit, once you know, you will know the ITC to be reversed. Okay, so what is the first case? So I need what is the GST payable and what is the ITC for the purpose of availment of ITC. So ITC availment of ITC for the current month, availment of ITC, and will it be taken as common ITC? Will it be taken as common ITC or not? So first whether we will take ITC or not this month, and will it be treated as common ITC or not? So that is what we need to find. First, machinery U purchased 1st October, so this month only, for being used in manufacture of all the 3 products. Can we take ITC? Yes boss, you can take ITC. Will it be coming in the common credit? Yes, it will come in common credit also, because it is used for all 3. So all 3 means what? Both taxable and exempted. Then next, machinery V purchased on 1st October for being used in manufacture of product alpha and gamma. So this month I purchased, used for only alpha and gamma. Alpha and gamma is what this month? Taxable. So therefore I can take ITC. It is not common ITC. Why it is not common ITC? Because it is not used for both taxable and exempted. Then next, machinery W. Machinery W purchased on 1st October for being used exclusively in manufacturing of product beta. So beta, only beta. So beta is what now? Exempted. So we cannot take ITC with respect to it, even it is not a common credit. Leave it. Machinery Y purchased on 1st October 4 years ago for being exclusively used in manufacture of product beta. 4 years ago beta was what? Taxable. So exclusively used for taxable. From 1st October this month it is used for manufacturing gamma also means both taxable as well as exempted. So yes, because beta is now exempted, gamma became taxable, so it is used for both beta and gamma. So again it is a common ITC. Whether we need to avail ITC? No, we would have already taken at the time of purchase itself. Just to take it in the common credit, that is sufficient. You don't have to take the credit now, because initial purchase it was used for taxable, so at that month itself it would have been taken as credit. Just you need to take it into common credit, that is sufficient. And 4 years ago, so still there is some life, 1 year life is there, so therefore you can do the reversal for the balance 12 months. Then machinery Z purchased on 1st October 2 years ago for being used in manufacture of all 3 products. So at that time itself it is purchased for manufacturing all 3 products. So at that time itself credit would have been taken. So no need to take the credit now. Already credit would have been taken. Only thing you put it under common credit. Then raw material used for manufacturing alpha purchased on 5th October. So this month we purchased used in only alpha. Alpha is what? Taxable. So therefore ITC available. Raw material used for purchasing beta purchased on 10th October. So this month we purchased used in beta. Beta is now what? Beta is now exempted. So therefore ITC cannot be availed. Raw material used for manufacturing gamma purchased on 15th October. 15th October when it is being purchased. So this month only, and it is used for gamma. Gamma is what? Taxable. So we can take the ITC. Okay. Now what is the total ITC availed? So simple, just to total it. Whichever I put a tick mark, that total it. So 36,000 plus 18,000 plus 27,000. See the tick into whatever I have done, cross I have done, that is the working note explanation you need to give. So whether it is taxable, whether ITC can be availed or not, why ITC cannot be availed, why it is considered as common credit, that explanation you need to offer. For that only you need to prepare a statement, working note. Okay. And 27,000 we add, and then 18,000 we add. So therefore 99,000 is the ITC availed. 99,000 is the ITC availed this month and credited to the electronic credit ledger. Now what is the common ITC with respect to capital goods? So common ITC with respect to capital goods, that total you take. So first, so 36,000 will come under common ITC, and thereafter 72,000 will come under common ITC, and then 54,000 will come under common ITC. 1,62,000. What you should do? Very simple. 1,62,000 divided by 60. You will get monthly ITC. Okay. So 1,60,000 divided by 1,62,000 divided by 60. Don't change divided by 60. Take divided by 60 only. So 2,700 is the monthly ITC. 2,700 into. So monthly ITC will be 2,700. So therefore monthly ITC will be 2,700. 2,700 into. What is the exempted? So exempted turnover you see. So which is exempted? Beta is only exempted, that is 10. And total turnover 9 plus 10 plus 6, that is 15. Correct? 15 plus 10, 25. So 10 divided by 25. Am I right here? So 10 divided by 25. So 10 divided by 25 will be attributable to exempted. So into 10 divided by 25. So they are not asking us to compute the interest. Check. So ignore interest if any. So therefore we don't have to compute the interest. Otherwise interest we need to compute. But usually interest related question will not be asked in exam, because in ICA study material they have not given interest related information. So rest assured they will not ask question on interest. But this much they will be asking. So 1080. And now what is the ITC credited to electronic rate ledger? We got 99,000. What is the common credit? We got 1,62,000. What is the common credit attributable to exempted supply for the month of October? 1,080. What is the GST liability of the company payable through electronic cash ledger for the month? What is the taxable turnover? Taxable turnover is 9 and 6, 15 lakhs. So on 15 lakhs we need to pay GST. What is the rate of GST? 18%. So 15 lakhs into 18%. So 2,70,000. 2,70,000 and whatever ITC to be reversed. So either you can reverse it from 99,000 or you can add it to the liability. Anything is okay. So I am adding to the liability minus 99,000. So I can reduce it from 99,000 and then reduce further from 2,70,000, or directly the 1,080 I can add it to the liability. So 2,70,000. How we got 2,70,000? You understood now? 15 lakhs into 18%. So 2,70,000 plus 1,080 minus 99,000, so that will come to 1,72,080 is the liability. Okay, so this is how we need to do. And so you don't have to do it like missionary wise. You don't do it missionary wise. So we have to do it this way. So this is the process, or this is the procedure you need to follow. So that will be like the answer that you will be getting. So this is completely application of rule 43. So this is a question. So this question number 58 is asked for 10 marks in CA final November 2018 old syllabus. Question number 58. Quanto Enterprises is not required to register under CGST Act. However, it applied for voluntary registration on 17 September. So which section? Section 18 subsection 1 clause B. Registration certificate has been granted to the firm on 25th September. So we need to take the closing stock as on 24th September. The CGST SGST liability of the firm for the month of September is 24,000 each. And the firm is not engaged in making interstate outward taxable supply. Quanto Enterprises provides the following information regarding capital goods and inputs held in stock by it as on 24th September. So now, what is the ITC that can be availed in this case? Closing stock data we have. Inputs procured on 2nd September. So it is within 1 year. Of course, it is within 1 year. So with respect to this inputs, so GST paid can be taken as credit. Yes, this can be taken as credit. Input received on 21st July. So 21st July to 24th September, is it within 1 year? Yes. Contained in semi-finished goods held in stock. CGST 6%, SGST 6%. Yes, this can also be taken as credit. Value of inputs contained in finished goods held in stock, 2 lakhs. Such inputs were procured on 19 September last year. So what is the date? 24th September. 19 September last year to 24th September is not within 1 year. It is beyond 1 year. So therefore, this 2 lakh worth of inputs, whatever is there, so such inputs were procured on 19 September last year. So on this ITC cannot be availed because this is beyond 1 year. And inputs valued at 50,000 procured on 13 September lying in stock. So 13 September is within few days. So can we take it as ITC? Yes. So this can be taken as ITC. Capital goods procured on 12 September. 12 September within 1 year. Even though it is within 1 year, don't take credit on capital goods because it is 18(1)(b). In case of section 18(1)(b), how can you take credit on capital goods? It is only inputs. As such, held in stock, inputs in WIP, inputs in FG. And they are having a liability. What is that liability that they have? 24,000 each. So CGST 24,000, SGST 24,000 is that liability. and for the month of September. So here we will take an assumption, that is, so they will get the registration certificate and immediately they are filing ITC 01. So only when they file immediately ITC 01, they will be able to take credit for the month of September. Otherwise, they will not be able to take the credit for the month of September. So that point you need to write. As the time limit for filing ITC 01 is within 30 days from the date on which they have got the registration certificate. So in the present case, it is assumed that they made application for registration. In the present case, they made the application for availment of ITC in Form GST ITC 01. So by September end, therefore that ITC can be utilized for payment of liability of the September month. So now, what is the credit that they have? So 4,500 rupees of CGST. So just CGST 4,500 and SGST 7,500. Sorry, 4,500 CGST plus 7,500 CGST, 12,000 CGST credit and 12,000 SGST credit and 9,000 IGST credit they have. Okay. And they have a liability 24,000 CGST, SGST. Now, 9,000 rupees of IGST credit should be first utilized. So, first 9,000 rupees we will use for payment of 24,000. So, 24,000 each. So, therefore, the calculation will be like, so CGST, SGST, IGST. So, CGST, SGST 24,000 they have liability. Now, what is the IGST credit? IGST credit is 9,000. So let's utilize it equally. So therefore I am using 4,500 and 4,500 for CGST, SGST. What is the remaining credit that they have? So therefore 4,500 plus 7,500. So 4,500 plus 7,500, 12,000. So the 12,000 of CGST credit and 12,000 of SGST credit will be utilized. So when it is utilized, the remaining will be the liability. So 24,000 minus 4,500 minus 12,000, so that will come to 7,500 is the net GST payable. Okay. So this is how the application of 18 subsection 1b is. Okay. And let's proceed to the answer related to this. So question number 58. Okay, so say this. So we have taken the statement 4,500, 7,500, 12,000, 12,000, 9,000. And what has happened here is that full 9,000 is used for payment of CGST. That's up to us, na? Any answer can be taken. And 12,000 CGST, 12,000 SGST. So net GST payable is 3,000 and 12,000. But overall, so it is the same. It is the same. So 15,000, but we got 7,500 and 7,500 because we utilized it equally the IGST credit. Okay. Now we are moving on to another question related to this, that is section 58. This question number 58. We completed now 59 you see. Question number 59 you see. Question number 59. So this question number 59 of practice manual, which is in page number, question number 59 of practice manual, page number 26. Have a look into that question. It's a very good question. This is on 18.1c. 18.1c. B&D Company, a partnership firm in Nagpur, Maharashtra, is a wholesaler of taxable product P and product Q, exempted by way of a notification. The firm supplies these products only in the eastern part of Maharashtra. So they are making this intra-state sale within the state. And all procurements, both goods and services of the firm, are from the suppliers registered under regular scheme in the state of Maharashtra. So their purchases are from a regular scheme, whereas the firm pays tax under composition scheme. So whenever they are opting for composition scheme, they are required to pay GST at the reduced rates, and they are wholesaler, means trader. So what is the rate applicable to a trader under composition scheme? It is 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST on the taxable turnover. Okay. And then composition scheme is applicable up to 150 lakhs during the current year. After crossing the aggregate turnover of 150 lakhs during the current year, they are disqualified from the composition scheme and they need to pay tax under normal scheme. So while computing this aggregate turnover, even exempted supply should also be taken. Okay. So up to 150 lakhs of aggregate turnover during the current year, they can be under composition scheme, and thereafter they need to pay tax under normal scheme. So now they have given two products, product P and product Q. While counting the aggregate turnover up to 150 lakhs, you need to take both the products P and Q. Now B&E company has furnished the following details with respect to its turnover exclusive of taxes and stock details exclusive of taxes. Particulars P and Q: turnover for the quarter ended 30th June, turnover for the quarter ended 30th September. So now 2 quarter data is given, turnover details, and then stock as on 30th June, 30th September, 31st October, stock data is also given. The entire stock of the products P and product Q available with the firm as on 30th September is purchased during the said half of the year, except a consignment of product P valuing 3 lakhs which was purchased in the April month of the preceding financial year. So only one product P, 3 lakh worth of material is purchased 1 year before. So 1 year before means that on that GST paid cannot be taken as closing stock. The said stock could not be sold during the month of October, and in the current financial year, in the month of October, no purchases were made and the products were sold with a uniform profit margin of 20% on sales. Okay, I'll tell you why they have given the data later. Okay, so first the extract of the only bill book maintained by the firm showed the following details. So these are the bill details and the date and the value of product P and product Q, and thereafter all the amounts are given above exclusive of taxes wherever applicable. Now what is the question? Compute ITC credited to the electronic credit ledger of the B&D company when it exits the composition scheme and becomes liable to pay tax under regular scheme in accordance with the provisions of section 18(1)(c). Note: make suitable assumptions wherever required, and stock is valued at cost price. So now we need to apply section 18(1)(c) and we need to know as to what is the ITC on closing stock that is available. So as per 18(1)(c), so when you exit from the composition scheme and go into normal scheme, whatever is the closing stock on the GST paid can be taken as credit. Now in this case, we need to know what is the date on which we exit the composition scheme and go into the normal scheme. So 150 lakhs of aggregate turnover, on which date it crosses we need to see. So for the first quarter they gave the data up to 30th June. That is for the first quarter, what is the cumulative turnover? Let's see. What is the cumulative turnover? Because when I calculate aggregate turnover, I need to take both taxable and exempted. So what is the cumulative turnover for the first quarter? For the first quarter, the cumulative turnover is 60 lakhs plus 17 lakhs 65,000. So that comes to 77 lakhs 65,000. That's the cumulative turnover as on 30th June. And as on 30th September, what is the cumulative turnover? What is the cumulative turnover as on 30th September, half year? So for that 77 lakhs 65,000, you add 50 lakhs and you add 17 lakhs. So that comes to 144 lakhs 65,000. Means still we can render some amount, we can supply some amount which is covered under composition scheme, because composition scheme is 150 lakhs. Only after that person is disqualified from the composition scheme. So far 144 lakhs 65,000. Now up to that it is 144 lakh 65,000, 1 crore 44 lakh 65,000. Now let's see on which date we are crossing composition scheme and going into normal scheme. So up to 30th September it is 1 crore 44 lakh 65,000. Now add 2 lakh 3,000. Why? So because in October also few transactions we will be coming under composition scheme. Now when you take aggregate turnover, you need to take both P and Q, let it be taxable or exempted. So 1 crore 44 lakh 65,000 plus 2 lakh 3,000, how much it will come to? 1 crore 46 lakh 68,000. So still you are under composition scheme, you have not crossed 50 lakhs. Then add 1 lakh 38,250 total, already it is given both P and Q. So that is 1 crore 48 lakh 6,250. Still you are under composition scheme, and thereafter you add 1 lakh 6,250. So that is 1 crore 49 lakh 12,500. Still you are under composition scheme, and thereafter 92,500. So 92,500, 1 crore 50 lakh 5,000. So exactly with this invoice, you are crossing 1 crore 50 lakhs. So therefore with respect to this invoice onwards, you will be under normal scheme. So not the next invoice, with respect to this invoice onwards. So because of one invoice you are crossing 150 lakhs, from that invoice onwards you are disqualified from the composition scheme and you will be into normal scheme. Means on that invoice we need to pay GST under normal scheme or we need to pay GST under composition scheme. Definitely normal scheme. So that is the cutoff invoice. So the cutoff invoice here is 2309. So up to this date you can be into composition scheme, which means so this 1st 2nd October whatever transactions you have made, so that transactions will come under composition scheme. Yes, it will be coming under composition scheme. Okay, so that is with respect to this cutoff date. So first we identified that cutoff date. So what is that cutoff date? So 2nd October is the that is 3rd October is the date on which you are going into normal scheme. So we need to take closing stock as on which date? We need to take the closing stock as on 2nd October. So on that stock whatever GST paid can be taken as credit. So I need the closing stock as on 2nd October. So now go to the question there. So whether I have the stock details as on 2nd October, I don't have the stock details as on 2nd October. I have the stock as on 30th June. I have the stock as on 30th September. But I don't have the stock as on 2nd October. But I have stock as on 31st October. So closing stock data they have given. But what I need is stock as on 2nd October. So very simple. So we have a general equation in accounting. What is a general equation in accounting? Opening stock. As on which date we need to take? Opening stock you take as on, so 110, as on 110, as on 110 whatever is the opening stock you take. Add purchases, purchases for which period? So 1st October and 2nd October, 1st October and 2nd October whatever is the purchases you take, minus cost of goods sold, minus cost of goods sold. So this cost of goods sold for which period? Again same. So that is 1st October and 2nd October you take the cost of goods sold. Okay. Opening stock plus purchases minus cost of goods sold equal to what? Closing stock. Okay. So you take the closing stock. Opening stock plus purchases minus cost of goods sold equals to closing stock. Done. And now what will be taken as the opening stock? The opening stock here is 30th September closing stock. Only with respect to P, not with respect to Q. First of all, Q is an exempted product. This person is a wholesaler. When he purchases Q, there won't be any GST paid. If he is a manufacturer, maybe different assumption we can take. But he is a wholesaler, means he is purchasing and selling. When sale is exempted, definitely purchase is also exempted. So with respect to Q, there is no GST paid on purchase. Only with respect to P. So therefore, we need the detail here of only P. So what is the opening stock of P? Opening stock of P is 10 lakhs. Opening stock of P is 10 lakhs. And purchases. So for that we need to check what is the purchase information. In the current financial year, in the month of October, no purchases were made. So jolly. So no purchases. So we don't have to take anything. Minus cost of goods sold. What is the sales for 3 days? No, sir, 2 days, 3 invoices. Don't take Q, take only P, because sales, and then we have got the profit margin of 20% on sales. So which means 80% will be the cost. So therefore I need to know what is this sales value. What is this sales value for the 3 transactions? Only P, because right now we are calculating only for P, not for Q. Only for P we are computing. So 2 lakhs plus 1,33,000 plus 67,000, that is 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs is the sales. So 4 lakhs into 80% we will take. We will get cost of goods sold into 80%. Okay. So 4 lakhs into 80% I am taking. We will get cost of goods sold. So that will be equals to closing stock. Correct. So then, so 10 lakhs minus 4 lakhs into 80%, 3,20,000 equals to. So 10 lakhs minus 3,20,000. So it's what? 6,80,000, right? So 6,80,000 will be closing stock. 6,80,000 will be closing stock as on which date? As on 2nd October. As on 2nd October, closing stock is 6,80,000. But be careful. We cannot take entire 6,80,000 as credit, because out of this 6,80,000, there is some closing stock of, like there is a stock of 3 lakhs which was purchased 1 year before. 1 year before. And the said stock could not be sold. So therefore, this is the stock which is purchased 1 year before. So therefore you take out that 3 lakhs of stock. So now what you get will be 3,80,000 closing stock purchased within 1 year prior. Closing stock purchased within 1 year prior. Within 1 year prior. So what is the closing stock purchased within 1 year prior? 3,80,000. On that 3,80,000, is there any rate that is given in the question? So there is no rate that is given in the question here. So therefore we will take 18%. If they have given some other rate, we would have taken into 18%, that is 68,400. So ITC under section 18 subsection 1 class C is 68,400. As these are purchases within the state, you need to show that separately as CGST, SGST. So therefore CGST 34,200, SGST 34,200. So this is the answer for this question. Section 18 subsection 1 class C application. Okay. And let's see the answer related to this. So see the answer 59. So 34,200, 34,200. See this. So 10 lakhs, 3 lakh 20, 3 lakhs, 34,200, 34,200 is the ITC available as per section 18(1)(c). Okay. Question number 64 is related to job work. See that. Alok Private Limited, a registered manufacturer, sent steel cabinets worth rupees 50 lakhs under the delivery challan to Messrs Prem Tools, a registered job worker, for job work on 28/1/2018. The scope of job work included mounting the steel cabinets on a metal frame and sending the mounted panels back to Alok Private Limited. The metal frame is supplied by Prem Tools. Okay. So Alok Private Limited sent steel cabinets worth 50 lakhs under the delivery challan to Prem Tools, a job worker. So now the job worker has to mount the steel cabinets on a metal frame, and so are sending the mounted panels back to the Alok Private Limited. And the metal frame is to be supplied by Prem Tools. So Prem Tools have to supply the metal frame. Messrs Prem Tool has agreed to a consideration of 5 lakhs for the entire mounting activity, including the supply of metal frame. During the course of mounting activity, metal waste is generated, which is sold by Messrs Prem Tools for rupees 45,000. Messrs Prem Tools sent the steel cabinets mounted on the metal frame to Alok Private Limited on 3/12/2018. When the raw material or inputs is sent to job worker, so 28/1/2018, and when they returned it 3/12/2018, is it within 1 year? Of course it is within 1 year. 28 January 2018 to 3/12/2018 is definitely within 1 year. So therefore we don't have to pay any GST. Who? The person who is sending, Alok Private Limited. Whereas the Prem Tools is getting the job charges, na? So that job charges, they need to pay GST. Whether Prem Tools are registered? Yes, Prem Tools are registered job worker. And now assuming GST rate for metal frame as 28%, for metal waste as 12%, and the standard rate for services as 18%, you are required to compute the GST liability of Messrs Prem Tools. Also give reasons for inclusion or exclusion of the value of cabinets in the job charges for the purpose of payment of GST by Messrs Prem Tools. Okay. First, what is the services job charges? So mounting activity is the job charges, and they are using some material for this mounting. So whether the material will be taxable separately. So do we know the value of that material used? We don't know the value of the material used. We have only 5 lakhs. So 5 lakhs. So this processing, that is services plus that supply of some metal parts, metal frame. So what is it they are doing? Mounting activity. Mounting activity is supply of service, and supply of metal frame, supply of goods. And these two are naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business. So due to that reason, it will be treated as a composite supply. So what is the principal supply here? Services is the principal supply. So what is the rate applicable to principal supply? 18%. So that will be taken. You understood? So here we are applying the composite supply, mixed supply concept. So it is naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business, because for mounting definitely they need to supply the metal frame. So which means that it is naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business. So it is a composite supply. When it is a composite supply, we need to take the rate of principal supply. Here what is the principal supply? Mounting activity is the principal supply. So whatever is the rate applicable to the mounting activity, 18%, that will be taken on the entire 5 lakhs. Okay. Then what about the waste and scrap that is sold separately? So that waste and scrap which is sold separately will be chargeable at the rate applicable to that waste and scrap. So 45,000 into 12%. Okay. Now have a look into the answer for this. So answer to question number 64. Now, so what is the rate that we are taking? 18% we are taking on 5 lakhs. Why? So we are applying the concept of composite supply. Okay. So job work and this activity, supply of service, 18% is the rate, including the value of the material used in that. So due to that reason we are taking 18%. Whereas waste and scrap that is sold is separate. So on that who will pay? As job worker is registered, job worker will pay. So that is 5,400. So total GST payable will be 95,400. Now my question is, what if the job worker is not registered? What is your answer? What if the job worker is not registered? If the job worker is not registered, there is no GST payable. Wrong. I will tell you. When the job worker is not registered, so the job worker's place is shown as one of the additional place of business of the principal, and on job charges there is no GST. On job charges there is no GST, but the job worker's place is shown as one of the place. So this waste and scrap that is sold from the job worker's place, on that waste and scrap, so the principal has to pay GST. Is it clear? Understood or not? So on that waste and scrap, if the job worker is unregistered, as job worker's place is shown as one of the place of business of the additional place of business of the principal. So whenever that waste and scrap is sold from the job worker's place, on that the principal has to pay GST. What about job charges? No, on job charges GST is not payable, because as the job worker, that individual, that will come under individual. So as the job worker is unregistered, so there is no GST on the job charges. Okay. So that is with respect to this job work. Maybe a question of this type could be asked. Okay. So have a look into this question. This is how the question will be. It was asked in November 2020 exam. Okay. Like this type of question, not exactly the same question. So question number 51 type already asked in November 2020. So have a look into this. A Limited, a registered supplier of goods having head office at Delhi, also registered as input service distributor, furnishes the following information for the month of July 2018 and ask you to distribute the credit to various units. So A, B, C, D. Unit exclusively in unit A, input service A used exclusively in unit 3, which means this credit will be distributed only to unit 3, correct? And B used in unit 1, 2 and 3. So it will be distributed to these 3 units only. And input service C used in unit 1, 2, 3, 4. So all 4 units it will be distributed. And input service D used in unit 1. So input service D is available for employee on vacation. Remember, even ineligible ITC or blocked ITC will also be distributed. So recipient unit is not registered, sir. Distribute. Recipient unit is registered and engaged in exempted supply. Distribute. So as a ISD, everything you need to distribute. Now if it is a block credit, they will not take credit. And if it is like used for exempted outward supply, they will not take credit. But the credit needs to be distributed. Then, so therefore D will be given only to unit 1. Total amount of credit and total turnover of the units for the year ending 31st March 2018 are as under. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. Unit 3 not registered as exclusively engaged in exempted goods. Even then credit will be distributed and that unit will not be able to take the ITC. And all units are operational during the current year. Unit 1 is located in Delhi, where ISD is located, Delhi. Head office is located in Delhi. Unit 1 is also in Delhi. Means CGST distribute as CGST, SGST as SGST, IGST as IGST. Whereas Unit 2, 3, 4 are located in Mumbai, Rajasthan and Gujarat respectively, means in different states. So compute credit attributable to each of these units. So what is it we need to do is that, so with respect to the units, so this is question number 51. So with respect to the units, so we need to take first Unit 1. Unit 1 is in which place? Unit 1 is in Delhi. So here you take CGST, SGST and UTGST. Okay. Whereas Unit 2, Unit 3 and Unit 4. So Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4 is in Mumbai, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Mumbai, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Only one column. What is that? IGST. Everything will be distributed as IGST only. Let it be CGST, SGST or IGST. Only for within the unit we need to distribute it separately. Whereas in other cases it will be like normal IGST only. First, unit input service A. Input service A used only for Unit 3. Input service A. Input service A. So this input service A is used only by Unit 3. So what is that Unit 3's ITC? So 27,000. Total 54. Total you take 54,000 and give it to Unit 3. 54,000 give it to Unit 3 over as IGST. Then next, Unit 1, 2, 3 service B. Input service B. Input service B for Unit 1, 2 and 3. So 1 to 3 ratio. So 25 is to 15 is to 75. So that is 4 is to 3 is to 5 ratio. Correct? So 5 4s are. So 4 is to 3 is to 7. Correct? So 1 second there. So 5 is to, so Unit 1, Unit 2 and Unit 3, 5 is to 3 is to 15 ratio. 5 is to 3 is to 15 ratio, we need to distribute the credit. With respect to Unit 1, 2 and 3, how much? 36,000. IGST, no problem. IGST 36,000. So 36,000 into 5 divided by 23. That is, this is IGST. So here 7,826 IGST. And then we will take 36,000 into 3 divided by 23. So 4,696. Then same way 36,000 into 15 divided by 23. So 23,478. So 6, 6, 12 last 8. So total it will be correct. So like this we need to distribute input service B and input service D, all the units, and all the units in what ratio? This ratio. So what is this ratio now? So input service C. Input service C. So input service C is in the ratio of 5 is to 3 is to 15 is to 10. In that ratio we need to distribute the credit. But be careful, we have CGST, SGST also. What should we do? Wait. Take the total first. Total 25,200. 25,200 into 25,200 into 5 divided by total, that is already 23 plus 10, 33. That is you got 3,818. That 3,818 divided by 2. So because CGST, SGST. So 1,909. So here 1,909 because CGST credit, SGST credit it is. CGST credit, SGST credit, distributed as CGST credit, SGST credit. Whereas remaining amounts will be distributed as IGST. So 25,200 into 3 divided by 33. 3 divided by 33. 2,000. So it is completely calculator only here, but it will take time. And we can't do anything with respect to that. So 25,200 into, so it is 15 divided by 33. So 11,455. And last one, 25,200 into 10 divided by 33. So 7,636. Okay. So this is with respect to input service C. Hope you understood the way in which we are doing. Input service D only for unit 1, 2,160. Distribute as 1,080, 1,080. Input service D. So distribute it normally 1,080, 1,080. So it's a simple one. So this is the way in which you need to distribute the credit and total it, so that you will know whatever is the CGST, SGST and IGST. Okay. So you can see the answer related to that. So question number 51, see here. So everything needs to be distributed and you will get the total credit that is distributed in this place for unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. You understood now preparation of the table. This total credit available you can reduce. So this information in exam answer sheet you will not have space. So this information you don't have to write, but remaining you just prepare a table like this. So it will be easy for you. You can arrive at the answers. Okay.